before we get into these new elements of the color page, let me explain you which new elements we're gonna see. And are basically two, which is this, the qualifier, which is this tool, and also all these curves, okay, which is hue versus saturation. We're gonna use them. You're gonna understand why we use them. Maybe I did mention in the first part all these things, okay. With these circles you change them. So basically these things, to refresh a bit, remember, is relationships of things, hue versus hue. Hue is the relationship of color, so it's gonna be these two elements only. Then we have hue versus saturation, which is gonna be color and saturation, okay, the relationship between them. And anything we do here is gonna affect the saturation and the color of this image, for example, right? So let's do one fast. For example, we want to make this orange less intense, let's say it, right? So I just click here, and as you can see here in the curve, in this, okay, I just click in the part of the image I wanna affect, and this has appeared here. So for example, if now I put it all the way up, you see that has more saturation. If I just put it all the way down, the orange only, though, other colors, no. The problem we're having, and you can already see it, is this here, for example, is the same color. This here, I think it's gonna change to this here, I think too. Let's see it. No, this here stays pretty much okay, but we have all these things here, for example, right? All these colors, all these points that they are affecting too. So in case sometimes maybe we didn't want to affect this, okay, we're gonna see also this, and it's by just doing mask, really. Okay, so we're gonna see now with this image, very basic, what we can do with that. So we can do this, we know, we can just affect the saturation. Another thing we can do, I'm gonna create another node, is if we do it in another node, for example, hue versus lumina, which is light, obviously. So this is gonna be the relationship between hue and light. Okay, so again, orange here, we put it all the way up, you see there's more light, and the hue change a bit. All the way down, the hue gets darker, the color gets a bit darker. Okay, we can also, if we see all these things here, like let's say we want to change this, we can also change this and affect the image. Okay, but this, you don't need this, because it's like this doesn't mean you have to do a lot of points here and a lot of things. No, here you go to the point you want to affect directly, right? This is very important to understand. So let's say we want to affect also only luma and saturation, this relationship between the light and the saturation of this color. So same, you put it up, more light, more saturation, down, less light. Okay, so this, we're gonna do it too better if we do it, I think, directly in the first one. Okay, so again, just so you see it, this is saturation versus saturation, saturation lumina. Okay, here is the brightest part of our image. We see, if we go down it gets darker, obviously, and this is the saturation. Okay, so this is like the opposite. Okay, this is a lot of saturation now and not a lot of light. This is a lot of light, less saturation. So we see the relationships. This, every time you apply some of this, you are affecting the relationships. You're not affecting only one thing, right? So we know a bit. The ones that you're gonna use the most really are hue and saturation. This you're gonna use quite a lot. But remember, is to change, because with this you can change the intensity of the elements. Okay, like here I affect the intensity, now has much more intense orange, this, or I can also turn them down a little bit, as we will see, for example, with this image, that if I now just say to this do not show, so you can see this, we already did here one mask that affects only this element. If we zoom it, which is this, or no, let's do it now. Actually, we didn't do it yet. So the same concept as we did in the other. Let's press this, and you can see here I can turn it all the way down, but be careful, because obviously I'm affecting this part. So if I want to make sure I only select this, and here comes the new thing. Okay, we've seen a bit of these curves with the bus. We're gonna select this now, qualifier. We're gonna select this, and we're gonna make sure it's only this color selected. So we're gonna first, obviously, we're gonna do this, and now we see that it's only this color, and we change the parameters. Okay, this we do it here with this highlight tool. We're gonna go through all this image after, and we're gonna do it a bit faster, but with all these elements that I'm explaining now. So here I wanna change all this, I wanna affect all of this. So not that much. Okay, something like this probably. Okay. Okay, these are all parameters that affects the para I wanna select. Okay, the noise a bit. Also, I'm doing these that are the other parameters. Okay, that you can do that affects the selection that you have. Okay, for example, this would be too much because we're selecting other parts, other elements that we don't want to change the color. We only want to change the color of this. Right, so now let's put it back to normal. We have selected already this, and now what we're gonna do is just turn down the saturation basically, and as you can see it's already turning it a bit down. However, we might need to change a little bit this to make sure that we get a bit more clean. Okay, orange, so that more parts are selected. Okay, that more parts are in our qualifier. Okay, like this. Yes, something like this. Perfect. The saturation was what we needed to change, really, not the hue. So hue is like this, the color. Okay, which color you want it to be. So as you can see, if I move it here, it change color. Saturation is, but it doesn't change color. What it does is give a new color, a new meaning of color to this color. This is saturation that is going to affect the saturation. Okay, if we move it just holding this part, and this is the parameter that we want of our image to modify, and this is the luminance. So we change it a little bit. I mean, can be a bit better, but I think it's very believable. So if we see, for example, without this one, okay, we see the difference is less, much less. So this is basically what we're gonna do now. We're also gonna try to make one image this to be in the night, okay, with all this that we have made here. Okay, this is the final look. I mean, maybe I could even, after when I explain this, I'm also gonna do one new. Okay, for example, here, as you can see, is even too dark. So I see that it's too dark. I just place this one here. Okay, to the stairs, size, make it a bit bigger. Soft, obviously we want it pretty soft. And now what I'm gonna do, even a bit more soft. aspect, yeah, a bit like this, tilt, here is fine. And now gamma, I'm just gonna put it a bit more, and now it looks even a bit better, so we can see some information. But again, it looks like night. Maybe now the lift, I put it a bit down though of this mask, okay? So we don't want to lose this thing that is night. Gamma, and you play with these elements and you just modify things, okay, and you affect things, okay? Let's watch it like this. So yeah, now it's in the night, okay, a bit more interesting, okay? This image, no, sorry, we just gonna, this is how it was, this is how it is now.